That's what Muslims hope will happen, but Allah is under no obligation to reward the good or punish the wicked. He may do exactly the opposite, because He is not bound by anything, even His own word.
Could you tell us if you've engaged in any dawah towards the Muslims that you have become intimate with?
Not in the Middle East, I confess to you. In Iraq, I'm happy to be here today, and it may be as a coward, but the Muslims with whom I work, they know I'm a Christian. I actually have had some Muslims read my book, and one of the foremost Muslim reformers in Europe was willing to write a book, squib endorsement of it. My book, by the way, is dedicated to the courageous men and women in the Islamic world who are struggling for a reopening of the Muslim mind, who are trying to return to hoping that Islam can somehow be re-Hellenized. But the answer is no, I haven't engaged in any apostolic work in the Muslim world. I know some people who have, whom I admire, and from whom I'm learning.
I just would like to ask you about the population of Muslims compared with the worldwide, compared with Christians, Catholic
The
Christians.
demography of the Islamic world compared to the Christian world, well, it's abysmal. As Qaradawi, the spiritual leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, who was greeted in Tahrir Square by 2 million people recently, not a good sign, folks, about the Arab Spring, as he has espoused jihad by the womb, that this time they don't need to take Europe by the sword, they just outpopulate the remaining population. So the demography doesn't look good in that respect, absolutely. I mean, I'm as I mentioned, maybe my wife's not suffering tonight. If she is here. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. There you go. My wife comes from a family of 9 in Spain. And on many sides, you find comparable numbers of children. And just within a generation, that has changed to the point where her confrère, she's a good deal younger than I am, will say to her, "What are you doing in the United States? You have 4 children. Well, what else do you do?" And none of them have, more than 1. Or 2. So that's, the demography has collapsed. That's an old story. A sad one.
Mr. Reilly.
Yes, Father.
A few years ago, after 9/11, one of my parishioners, who was an Iraqi convert to Catholicism when he came to this country, I asked him, and he wrote the commentary for the Quran that is still used in the Middle East. So he's an expert Quranic scholar, and I asked him whether we saw the true face of Islam on 9/11. And he said the only thing that got hijacked on 9/11 was airplanes, that you saw the true face of Islam. And then I listened to political leaders in this country, whether it's either President Bush or President Obama, and they call Islam a religion of peace. It may be in their own minds a religion of peace, world domination, peace through victory, as this gentleman was talking about the Nazis, but it's not peace in any intelligible way that a Christian could understand. They impose Sharia law. If they have a duty to do it, we will face a demographic challenge of being dhimmis in just a few short years. It could happen sooner than you think. What should be the political response? Should Islam be challenged, or should Islam be mollified and coddled?
Yes. That's a very, very profound and difficult question, Father. My answer is Islam is a religion of peace, except when it's not. And that it's a religion of peace insofar as it brings the rest of the world into subjection to it, as I tried to demonstrate here. And you are quite right that the problem with who are called the jihadis today is that it is very difficult within Islam to delegitimize them, because they are appealing to a real part of their religion. So that is extremely tough. Now, what should we do? Well, one thing we ought not to do is try to make enemies of 1.3 billion people. And as having worked with many Muslims, they're not. Many of them are not our enemies. But I do not believe that we should avoid the central issues and speak directly to them and not promulgate this false image of what it is and say, listen, we respect you as a believer insofar as this provides your peaceful path to God. But insofar as you insist on using force to impose that on others, we do not respect it and we will not allow it, because we have within our image, the imago Dei, the sacred right of conscience. And if you or your religion violate it, we will not tolerate it. And we shouldn't apologize for saying that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reilly. Thank you very much.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation from the Institute of Catholic Culture. If you'd like to learn more about the mission of the Institute and how you may become a part of this important work, please visit our website at www.instituteofcatholicculture.org or call us at 540-635-7155. And may the glory of Christ Church be ever more manifest upon the earth. St. John the Evangelist, pray for us.